Just hit it in the middle. Hello. Thank you for joining us for Burns Night. And thank you, Jürgen Christensen, for that wonderful intro. There are a couple things I want you to know this evening, aside from the fact that you're totally so welcome to be here and we're so glad to see you all. We have two things going on that you might want to know about. We have raffle tickets on sale. One of the prizes, which wasn't quite spelled out in one of the emails we sent, was Scotch tasting tickets at the Highland Games. You get 2 tickets and tickets to the games. You get to choose which session you want to use those tickets for. There's also a pet lovers basket with a lot of Scotty dog and dog lover paraphernalia, and there's a Burns basket. I think Jenny's showing you pictures of those right now. So if you want to get raffle tickets, you've got about 30 more minutes. Then we'll close it down so that I can get everything together, put them in the bin, and do the drawing. The other thing we're doing is a bingo game. So as you're listening this evening, mark off on your bingo cards the words that you hear said. There are words on there such as kilt or kilted. Okay, you just heard that word. You can mark it off on your card. If you get 4 in a row, vertically, horizontally, diagonally, then put in chat the word bingo. Everyone who puts bingo in the chat box will be entered into a drawing, and we have 8 different door prizes to give away. So that's just for fun. Have fun with it.
All right, again, thank you, Kathy, for the nice welcome. But I'll start it off as one of the most important places in Scotland's history is Stirling Castle. And Stirling Castle has drawn countless visitors over the centuries. And one of the most celebrated visitors is that of Robert Burns, when he visited as part of his tour to the Highlands in the late summer of 1787. So at the end of August that year, Burns traveled out of Edinburgh with the company of his schoolmaster friend, Willie Nicol. Heading eastwards, they stopped off at Linlithgow Palace, where the poet was intrigued to see the room where Mary, Queen of Scots, had been born. As the traveling companions approached Stirling, they made a point of visiting another key site in the nation's history, the field of Bannockburn. There, Burns recorded that he saw the hole. He saw the hole where glorious Bruce set his standard. And while at Bannockburn, Robert Burns also saw the house in which King James III was said to have died after being slain during battle near Stirling in June of 1488. So on the afternoon of Sunday, the 26th, August 1787, Burns arrived in Stirling and he lodged at the Wingates Inn, which is now the Golden Lion Hotel on Stirling's King Street. With his traveling companion, they ambled up the hill to see the Stirling Castle that evening, where Burns recorded that he had admired the glorious prospect of the River Forth winding its way through the Carse of Stirling. So some of you may have heard of the Stirling lines, and Burns' visit to Stirling is perhaps best remembered today due to this composition that became known as the Stirling lines. He inscribed with a diamond stylus on a window pane at his lodgings in Wingates Inn. The Stirling lines emphasize Burns' patriotic and Jacobite sentiments. They also bear testimony to a fact with which all visitors to Stirling Castle would agree. Here in Stirling, the royal Stuarts did once in glory reign. So I'm not a very good poet reciter, but I'm going to try my best to share the Stirling lines with you tonight. On behalf of Clan Stuart, I'll just have to throw that one in here. But here Stuarts once in triumph reigned, and laws for Scotland's weal ordained. But now unroofed their palace stands, their scepters fallen to other hands. Fallen indeed, and to the earth, whence groveling reptiles take their birth. The injured Stuart line are gone, a race outlandish fill their throne, an idiot race to honor lost, who know them best, despise them most. So with that, I would like to lead you all on a little adventure tonight.
One, two, three. On you go.
Hello there, welcome to everyone in Alaska tuning in. This is Molly and I'm Stevie, and we do walking tours at Bannockburn and Stirling Bridge, and we're delighted that Amberley asked us to put together a video for Burns Night for you to enjoy. Molly's usually the star of the show, but for this one occasion she's letting me out from behind the camera, and my good friend Brad's doing the filming today, so thanks Brad.
Wrong.
Lockdown was a wee bit different for us. Had this mad idea to put up a fence originally to stop Molly running on the street for her tennis ball with all the cars, and then my mind started to wander. I was going to say hashtag be kind or welcome or that in big Hollywood style letters, but I decided in the end, Molly came up with the idea that we could commemorate the 3 battles that happened locally. So we've got the Battle of Stirling Bridge, the Battle of Falkirk and the Battle of Bannockburn. Once we got the fence built, because of the Scottish societies hadn't been able to do any fundraising, we decided that we'd bring out a t-shirt and a hoodie to mark each of their heraldic shields, and Molly even wrote a poem called Macduff of Fife. So there'll be links to this at the end. If you want to buy a t-shirt or a hoodie linked to the medieval characters, then please get in touch and we'll get them shipped across to Alaska. But I think it's time we go and have a wee visit around Bannockburn and Stirling and places linked with the great man himself, Robert Burns. Will we do that, Molly? Will we go? Nope. Scots wha hae wi Wallace bled, Scots won Bruce has aften led. Welcome to your gory bed, or to victory. Hi Molly, is this your Molly? 5 years ago I was scared of dogs. You wouldn't believe it these days. Molly was a real game changer. And quite quickly Bannockburn Battlefield became our most favourite place in the world. We'd come up here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week. And we'd notice that over the course of a visit or a day, folk would get out their cars, they would go up to the Robert the Bruce statue, take a few photographs, and maybe as little as 15 minutes later they would be leaving the village. Thought we have to do something about that, so we came up with this idea to do walking tours here at Bannockburn and down at Stirling Bridge. And for the last 3 years that's what we've done. On our days off we come up, we chat to folk and we welcome folk. We're the unofficial Stirling welcome team. Hey Molly.
Whose idea was that?
All the best ideas are Molly's ideas.
There we go.
It really was her idea. I had no interest in dogs for 45 years of my life, and the last 5 years it's all been about Molly. Hey Molly. So we love spending time up here chatting to folk and not just telling them about the history of the area, but also finding out why they visited Bannockburn and Stirling and what their connection is with the area. Isn't it Molly? Because you're not from here, eh? You're from Ireland. Yeah, you're from Ireland. Yeah. So yeah, we've had visitors from all over the world come here and on our tours. One person with a connection to Bannockburn was of course Robert Burns. He visited here in 1787 and he later composes Scots wha hae based on his visit. And if you don't believe me, so I think at this point we'll go up to the rotunda and we'll do a bit more poetry up there. Ready Molly? If we wander over this way into the rotunda, hey Molly, you lead on? You go. Show us where to go. This way. Yeah, just there. Is that it? Is it here? Yeah. This one? Here? This one here? Yeah. So, Robert Burns actually stood in this spot when he was on his visit. This isn't the original Boar Stone, but this is where Robert the Bruce planted his royal standard, his call to arms for people to gather here at Bannockburn. The original stone's in at the back of the cafe. They had to put it inside for safekeeping. The locals say that the tourists were stealing bits, chipping bits off and stealing it. The tourists blame the Fifers. I don't know who was stealing the stone bits, but it was getting smaller and smaller, so they've put it in there for safekeeping. I think, in the spirit of Robert Burns, but not a Burns poem, I think we should recite the poem Round the Rotunda. Robert Burns is the national poet of Scotland. Our current national poet, the Macker, is Kathleen Jamie. She got awarded the title last year, and 700 years after the battle, she visited here at Bannockburn and she wrote this poem, and it won the competition, and it got carved around the top of the rotunda here. So, what do you reckon, Molly? Will we do the poem? So it's called Here Lies Our Land Every Air, and if you are visiting here, stand right in the centre and it amplifies. Okay, here we go, Mo. Ready? Here lies our land every air, beneath swift clouds glad glints of sun, belonging to none but itself. We are mere transients who sing, its westland winds and ferny breeze, northern lights and siller tides. Small folk, plain our part, come all you the country says, you win me, who take me most to heart. One of the finest public Burns statues can be found here in Stirling. It was funded by Provost David Bain and commissioned from sculptor Albert Hemstock Hodge. It is composed of a bronze figure on a tall granite plinth with bronze plaques illustrating the vision, the Cotter Saturday night, Tam O'Shanter and Burns at the plough round the base. When Burns visited Stirling in 1787, he engraved in one of the window panes, either wisely or unwisely, a poem. In 10 lines he summed up how Stirling, from where the Stuart kings had ruled Scotland, had lost all power, and even the roof of its palace with its magnificent Stirling heads. Let's go inside. I say unwisely, as the poem was also highly critical of the Hanoverian kings and George III, who was thought to be mad, a race outlandish and idiot race to honour lost, who know them best, despise them most. Burns was forced to return and break the glass to avoid prosecution. His authorship of the Stirling lines had a bad effect on his employment as an exciseman. We've got on good authority from one of the staff here, Kat, who said that Burns stayed in where room 204 or 205 is now located. So if you're ever visiting Stirling, try and book into room 204 and 205 and you'll be able to stay where Robert Burns stayed on his visit. Hey Molly, will we try that? Will we maybe book in? So thanks very much for asking me again to do this video, and hope you have a wonderful Burns night. Enjoy your haggis, neeps and tatties, and we look forward to seeing you all in Stirling in the coming years. Thank you.
Stephen and Molly with Freedom Tours. Thank you. Scots Wahey. Scots Wahey with Wallace bled. Scots one Bruce has often led. Welcome to your gory bed, or to victory. Now's the day and now's the hour. See the front, O battle lower. See approach proud Edward's power, chains and slavery. Wha will be a traitor knave, wha can fill a coward's grave. Wha so base as be a slave, let him turn and flee. Wha for Scotland's king and law, freedom's sword will strongly draw. Free men stand, or free men fall. let him on with me. By oppression's woes and pains, by your sons in servile chains, we will drain our dearest veins, but they shall be free. Lay the proud usurpers low, tyrants fall in every foe, liberties in every blow. Let us do or die.
Part of a traditional Burns Neck supper is to say grace, a prayer of thanks to God for the food we're about to receive. And the traditional grace said at most Burns Neck suppers is the Selkirk grace. This was a grace that Burns himself delivered in the presence of the Earl of Selkirk. Now, this is a traditional Lowland Scots grace, contemporaneous with Burns. He did not write it, but of course he made it famous. So we're going to say the Selkirk grace together. Let us pray. Some hae meat and cannae eat, and some would eat that want it. But we hae meat, and we can eat, and say the Lord be thanked. Amen.
Fair, far, your honest sons ye face, great chieftain o' the puddin' race. Aboon them all ye take your place, Paunch, Tribe, or Therum, and well are ye worthy o' their grace, as lang my arm. The groaning trenchant, there ye fill, your herdies like a distant hill. Your pen would help to mend a mill in time o' need. And through your pores the dews distill like amber bead. His knife like rustic labor debt, and cut you up with ready slat, trenching your gushing entrails brat like on a ditch. And oh, what a glorious sight, warm, reeking, rich. And horn for horn they stretch and strive. Deal take the hindmost, on they drive, till their wild swallowed kites are belie, bent like drums. The old guideman, mace like to rive, be thanked hums. And is that there, or his French ragout, or Olo that would star a sou, or fricassee that would make her spew? Scunner, look down with sneering, scornful view on sich a dinner. Poor devil, see him there o'er his trash, as feckless as a withered rash, his spindly shank a good whiplash, his knave a knit. that would make her spew? With perfect scunner? Look down with sneering, scornful view on sich a dinner. Poor devil, see him there o'er his trash, as feckless as a withered rash, his spindly shank a good whiplash, his knave a knit. Through flood, bloody flood, and field to dash. Oh, how unfit! But mark, the rustic haggard fed, the trembling earth beneath his tread. Clap in his wally nave a blade, he'll make it whistle, and arms and legs and head will sned like taps o' a thistle. Ye powers, wha make mankind your care, and dish him out his bill o' fare. Alt Scotland wants nae skanking wares that lops in loogies, but if you wish her grateful prayer, gie her a haggis.
To the haggis.
To the haggis.
Well, hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in. We are The Fire, here to play a set of traditional Robert Burns tunes for you, all instrumental, but they're tunes that he collected or wrote, and it's a big medley of them from our album Marigold. We hope you enjoy this set of tunes, the Robert Burns medley.
So part of Robert Burns's career and life as a poet and songwriter was actually collecting folk songs that had already been written by other people or had been passed down through the ages. And sometimes he would faithfully record them and pass them on, and sometimes, in fact, oftentimes, he would take bits or snippets, parts or tunes of other songs and actually recast them, refine them, oftentimes improve them. And an example of that is actually the ballad of John Barleycorn. Now, barley is, of course, what they make whiskey out of. And in the parlance of the day, it was actually referred to as corn. Corn was just a generic term for a sort of grain. So the barley corn referred to barley. And this ballad sort of it personifies barley and barley's journey to whiskey as if it was an actual person. So it gets a little violent at points, but it ends well, or at least deliciously. So this is John Barleycorn by Robbie Burns. 3 kings there were into the east, 3 kings both great and high, and they hae swore a solemn oath, John Barleycorn should die. They took a plough and ploughed him down, poured clods upon his head, and they hae swore a solemn oath, John Barleycorn was dead. Then cheerful spring came kindly on, and showers began to fall. John Barleycorn got up again, and sure surprised them all. The sultry suns of summer came, and he grew thick and strong, his head well armed with pointed spears, that none should do him wrong. Then sober autumn came in mild, and he grew wan and pale. His bending joints and drooping head showed he began to fail. And his colour sickened more and more as he faded into age, and then his enemies began to show their deadly rage. They took a weapon long and sharp, and they cut him at the knee. They bound him fast upon a cart like a rogue for forgery. They laid him out upon the floor and cudgelled him full sore. They strung him up before the storm and turned him o'er and o'er. They filled up a darksome pit with water to the brim. They heaved in John Barleycorn, there let him sink or swim. They took him out and laid him up upon the floor to work him further woe. And just as signs of life appeared, they raked him to and fro. They scoured o'er an open flame the marrow of his bones, but the miller used him worst of all, and crushed him between 2 stones. And they had taken his very heart's blood, and passed it round and round, and still the more and more they drank, their joy did more abound. John Barleycorn was a hero bold, of noble enterprise. For if ye but taste his blood, 'twill make your courage rise. 'Twill make a man forget his woe. 'Twill heighten all his joy. 'Twill make even the widow sing, though the tear were in her eye. So let us toast. Let's raise a glass, every lad and lass a glass in hand. And let us toast John Barleycorn. May his great posterity ne'er fail in all Scotland. To John Barleycorn.
Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me? I'd like to thank you all for giving me the honor of presenting this year's toast to Robert Burns. Unfortunately, I was strapped for time and never got around to writing one. And so, in the place of which, I will be presenting to you, for the first time ever in a public setting, the lost dictation of one of Robert Burns's lesser-known exploits, cataloged and preserved for these many years by a nameless monk in the parking lot of IKEA. This is called Robert Burns and the Fairy Folk of Stone. A humble village lay upon a mighty mountain top, whose people lived in fear of that which roamed beneath their feet. For there below dwelt men of stone no mortal blade could stop, to whom the strongest warriors could not but beat retreat. So by the gates of town the elders met to voice their woes. They said, "They'll be the death of us, these cursed men of shale." Just then a brawny voice cried out, "Then I'll defeat your foes. For I have slain 1,000 beasts and still have yet to fail." The townsmen turned aloft to see the one who'd made the call, and there they spied a hero, garbed in tartan, long and green. For many jaws agape were hung, the man was 8 feet tall. And then he said, "Don't doubt me, I'm the best you've ever seen." They said, "Your body's broad, it's true, O stranger from afar. But lo, no feat of strength could ever fell the foe we face." The hero said, "It's true, that's why I brought a wrecking bar. I mean to find those Phyllite fiends and put 'em in their place." And so the man in belted plaid said, "Show me where to start." The village men said, "Just that way, their cave is to the west. But at the least tell us your name before you're to depart." He said, "They call me Robert Burns, for fact that I'm the best." So shouldered he his rod of iron and raced to cavern's door, to find the entrance guarded by a man of amethyst, who boldly took a swing and belted out a grating roar, then lunged again as Robert ducked and cried aloud, "You missed." So Robert took his weapon, and he swung it round his head, then brought it down with all his might upon that stony foe. And when the dust had cleared, forsooth, that shining guard was dead. And Burnsy said, "You fractured fool, you reap of what you sow." Then Robert lit a mighty torch and down the tunnel raced. Along the way he slew defending golems by the score, who cried, "This man's unstoppable, the worst we've ever faced," till Robert reached the cavern's end and yelled, "Who wants some more?" And there atop a throne of gold, the crystal king awaited. So Burns, he said, "Ye tyrant, you've got one chance to surrender." The monarch chuckled, "I'm so scared I swear my breath is baited. Your offense may have slain my troops, prepare to play defender." And so that diamond overlord, ablaze with fractal wrath, arose and struck that mighty man across the grotto's length. The wall he struck, but rose again, unscathed and on the warpath. Then Robert roared, "You gleaming fool, no rock can best my strength." A battle song upon his lips, that lowland man attacked. He struck the cubic sultan hard, 12 times at least. The king guffawed and said, "Just look, I'm not so much as cracked. You cannot break a diamond, fool, prepare to be deceased." Then Robert said, "You may not break, but diamonds can be cleaved." So from his bag a chisel, then a hammer he procured, and said, "If you thought I was beat, you've sorely been deceived. For none can best a Scotsman's might, your failure's been assured." So Burnsy hammered hard against the clear-cut sovereign's hollows. The fracture points made rapid work, that royal broke to pieces. Then Robert said, "I felled your host, and now you're going to follow. You saw yourself as grand, I found a flaw within your thesis." So Robert journeyed back to town, his bag weighed low with treasure. The people cheered and said, "We must reward him for his deed." And Burns said, "There's no payment due, to help you was my pleasure." For in his satchel bore he all the gems he'd ever need.
Hey everybody.
So this is we're toasting the Alaskan Scottish Club for our friend Amber Lee.
Happy Burns Day to everybody. It's awesome to hear that it's been celebrated in Alaska. I mean, it's incredible.
We hope you've been able to source haggis. That'd be fantastic. There's a meeps and tatty. That's turnip for anybody, but you're in a Scottish club, you'll know what that is.
So we're going to read a couple of verses of probably the best Robbie Burns poem for Burns Day, the Dress to the Haggis. We're not going to read it all because it's in Scots and we can barely speak Scots, never mind understand it. So we're going to give our best shot. Hope you enjoy.
Get your whiskey ready and enjoy. Okay, address to the haggis, or to a haggis. Fair fa your honest sonsy face, great chieftain of the puddin race. Aboon them, you tak your place. Painch, tripe or therm. We'll are your worthy old grace as long as my arm.
As long as your arm,
As long as my arm.
Heard it here first. The groaning trenchers there you fill, your hurdies like a distant hill, your pin wad help to mend a mill in time of need, while throw your pores to juice distill like amber mead.
There we go. So, slash everybody, we're driving, so we don't have our whiskey as right now.
Yeah.
We hope you have a lovely evening. Enjoy that haggis, neeps and tatties if you have it, or the equivalent.
Yep. Cheers to you all. Again, if we're ever in Alaska, I hope we're getting an invite because I'd love to come along. Cheers to you all. Slanjava. Have a good one.
Thanks, coaches. So my friends, Stephen and Rab. And for those who don't know them, Stephen and Rab are known globally as the Kilted Coaches. They're health, fitness, and life coaches based in Perth, Scotland. The Kilted Coaches believe that the combination of good coaching and kilts with a side helping of fun and laughter are the key to a healthy and happy life. But above all, Stephen and Rab are just two friends who are very proud of their country and everything about it. And tonight, we want to share that pride and love from Scotland to Alaska. And I'd like to let us reminisce on the immortal status Robert Burns holds the world over. So tonight's immortal toast is going to be a little bit different than normal. We're trying something new here. So, feel free to giggle along with us and, cheer us on if, something goes a little amiss, but just be patient and let's have fun, right? Happy. So with Robert Burns, there aren't many poets in the world whose life and work we celebrate on their birthday. Even Shakespeare isn't afforded that accolade. So every year on the 25th of January, we pay tribute to Robert Burns, Scotland's national poet, with Burns suppers featuring haggis, whiskies, and recitals of the bard's best loved works. He's admired not only for his poetry and love songs, but also for his good looks, his colorful character, and his reputation with women. On his deathbed, Burns is to have proclaimed, "I will be much better known in the future than I am today." Well, it appears that the plowman poet was right. So my friends and I, or maybe the clans, are going to try together and explore some of these reasons why.
Scotland's national poet, Robert Burns, is recognized the world over for his work focusing on universal themes of love and nature. He was a farmer's son who could speak to the common man. His life growing up among the ordinary people of Scotland meant he could write about nature and hardship, as well as love and family. He also led a colorful and varied life, which exposed him to different sections of society.
Burns is so popular today because of the themes and language of everyday life that he used. His poems were humorous, and he used small objects to express big ideas. This can be seen in poems like To a Mouse, as he draws a comparison between the lives of mice and men. In To a Louse, he highlights how useful it would be for us to have the power to see ourselves as others see us when he pokes fun at the posh lady in church with a louse on her hat.
So Burns also left a long legacy of romantic poetry that is still sung and recited today. This was partly because he was a ladies' man. He had 8 children with his wife, Jean or Moore, and 4 children with other women. However, he wasn't always the rogue that he seemed. Robert Burns had a respect for women, which is evident in his work and his relationships. In his poem, Green Grow the Rashes, Burns shows us his respect for women. The poem says that Mother Nature created men first, but she perfected the process with women.
And that must be true because Burns said it. You know, Burns wasn't just known for his poems, he was also a prolific songwriter, and we often remember songs more easily than we do poems. He wrote a truly amazing 346 songs over his lifetime. One of his most famous poems was Auld Lang Syne, which is set to the music of a traditional folk song. This song is now sung all over the world to ring in the new year and is taken to mean long, long ago or days gone by. In terms of songwriting ability, he's perhaps the nearest thing Scotland has to Lennon and McCartney. Bob Dylan cites My Love is Like a Red, Red Rose as his greatest lyrical inspiration. Incidentally, this evening when we play Auld Lang Syne, it's going to be set to the music that Robert Burns originally set it to, as opposed to the music it's heard to today. I hope you enjoy it.
His work has even influenced 20th century American authors. J.D. Salinger's book, Catcher in the Rye, references the song Coming Through the Rye. And John Steinbeck's novel Of Mice and Men is named after a line in the poem, To a Mouse. It is Burns' ability to empathize with the human condition that makes him a universally loved poet and songwriter, and an important cultural figure over 260 years after his death.
So, one question for everybody. Is Robert Burns deserving of the immortal title of National Bard?
Absolutely.
So here's what the clans have to say.
Well, I say Burns enjoyed life, having a varied career as a farmer, an exciseman, and an editor. He was also an artist full of creative, political, and human passion. As Scotland's greatest poet and songwriter, he shows the world the romantic and also the modern image of his nation. He is quite simply one of the most fascinating cultural phenomena to emerge in the 18th century. His appeal has lasted over 220 years later.
In one short flight time, between the ages of 15 to 36, he left us historical detail, social interactions, philosophical debate, songcraft, archive music, and confidence in Scotland as a nation. But more than that, he's great company. The guy you want to talk to through your whole night away. Through his words, his voice commits to us our own lives by revealing how connected we are to our land and our loves.
Burns wrote movingly and lyrically of love and its emotions. He wrote wittily and memorably about hypocrisy, not least within the Scottish Kirk. But it is in his celebration of the international brotherhood of social equality, of honest toil, and just reward that his global adherents still rejoice more than 2 centuries after his death. We still hold suppers in his memory. We still extol the virtues he espoused.
Okay, I'm going to ask one more time. Do we all think Robert Burns is deserving of the immortal status of a national bard?
Yes.
Yes.
So our votes have been cast and the decision we already made. The answer is an obvious yes.
Let's raise a glass to Robert Burns.
To Robert
Robert
Burns.
Burns.
Are we ready? Amberly?
Yes, let's go for the toast to the lads and the lassies.
Am I unmuted?
You're unmuted.
Fantastic. Good evening. Lads and lassies, I am Dave Wallace, and I have the privilege of delivering tonight's Toast to the Lassies. I must admit that I have learned more about Robbie Burns in the past 10 days than I ever thought possible. As was just pointed out, for a person of only 36 years of age, he had amassed a large body of work on a variety of themes. And in 2009, Scottish TV took a poll, and Robert Burns was named the most influential Scot of all times. Personally, I take a little solace in knowing that he was only narrowly defeated or narrowly beat William Wallace in this poll. But I digress. I am here to extol the virtues, traits, and quirks of our lassies. Tonight, with your indulgence, I will delve into 4 different themes using Mr. Burns as our guides. Are you ready for our trip? So let us start with Scottish culture. Scots we Wallace bled, Scots, while Bruce was often led. Welcome to your gory bed or to victory. Now is the day, now is the hour. See the frontal battle hour. Gentlemen, it is nights like this that we revel in our history, our culture, and our costume of Scotland. We break out our kilts, we don our family tartans, strap on the sporran, and adorn ourselves with family crests. And I say that we battle for saving our history and culture throughout events such as this. But I am forced to admit, it is our lassies that truly bring the spirit of Scotland alive with their amazing dresses, adorned with tartan sashes, accented with earrings, necklaces, and brooches, a vision of plaid. It might even be said that they have taken our names for fashion and accessories. To this, I must present exhibits to defend my case. Because as my wife has pointed out, you need a purse with matching shoes, lampshades, and no fashionably attired lassie would be missing her coffee cup adorned with her family's tartan. And lastly, what home with Scottish ancestry does not, and I say not, have a shower curtain in your tartan? Lads, I ask you, when was the last time you went to your favorite pub or to your favorite fishing hole with matching tartan jacket and boots? Nay, I say. But it is our love for our country and culture that leads us to make pilgrimage or two to Scotland. Traveling to Scotland is quite different for a lad than a lass, and it begins with the preparation. Lads, we look at the date on the ticket and muse, there's no need to prepare. We will have plenty of time that morning to throw a handful of clothes and sundries into a small bag. We might look at a website or two, mostly to find out the location and times of golf courses, pubs, and distilleries. And as we walk out the door, we quip to ourselves, let the adventure begin. Again, I must concede that our fair lassies win here again. She will begin to painstakingly pack a bag or 3 with clothes, shoes, and accessories for any possible event that might arise, and she will start 6 weeks ahead of time. Our differences continue when we arrive in Scotland. We are faced with 2 divergent thoughts on how and where this trip will take us. Gents, the links of St. Andrews, distilleries, and local pubs abound. Paradise, I say. We will scan the map and come up with only a direction in mind. Again, thinking to ourselves, let that adventure begin. But in the immortal words of Mr. Burns, the best laid schemes o' mice and men ging aftly glee, and leave us not but grief and pain for promised joy. For it is our lassies again have outmaneuvered us. They have read books, watched travel shows, read reviews and blogs. Thank you, Meg. Devising a full-fledged battle plan of castles, museums, and churches for each and every day. Last year's trip that has gone from a romp through the moors, living out our best Braveheart, feels more like a day of Bill Murray and Groundhog's Day. Lads, you will return with a bottle or two to share with family and friends that will quickly be enjoyed. But your lass, she will have found treasures of pottery, wool, and stone that you will share for a lifetime. Gents, I say to you, I wish this story would improve, for we see ourselves as the power in this life. Throughout history, men have occupied places of grandeur, but those days are over. And dear Rabbi has already given us the handwriting on the wall. A woman can make an average man great and a great man average. I must admit, I pondered what gives lassies this power, and I came up with 3 specific qualities: leadership, control, and organization. And our world today has attained great leadership roles for women, like heads of state, CEOs, and just yesterday, Commander Billy Farrell took command of the US Constitution. Our club also is well represented in this. Joan is the club president. Jen is our executive director and games organizer. And tonight's event was orchestrated by Kathy Steen and Amber Lee Wright. Each of these fine ladies have stepped up and taken the initiative to lead. We will also find she knows that she has the control, all while letting you think you're in command. Sort of like tonight. My lovely bride came to me and asked, "Do you want to do the toast on Burns night?" She let me believe that I had free will, knowing full well, no matter what my answer was, we would be doing the toast. And lastly, our lassies have that innate ability to organize everything from the simplest tasks to the most complex events. And you ask yourself, how do they do that? It's lists. They are able to take simple daily tasks and turn them into the dreaded honeydews or movements of a battlefield advance. But most dreaded list is not the one on paper, but the one she has created in her mind and can recall it like it was a date-stamped spreadsheet. Don't be fooled, lads. She is able to remember every foible, missed call, and mistake that you have ever made to include date, time, and what you were wearing. But I have hope. So lads and lassies, I will end this toast on the theme of love. Robert Burns was a prolific writer on this theme, and in his poems and songs, he was able to eloquently describe the thoughts and feeling of new love with, "We gently walk and sweetly talk, till the silent moon shines clearly. I grasp thy waist and fondly priest, swear how I love you dearly." But I must say the lasses of the 1700s were easily enthralled with the likes of a skinny redhead poet farmer from Ayrshire that could wield a story or deliver a line. Compared to the imagery of a fine Scottish lad of Sam Hugan, our lassies have found the Robbie or Jamie Fraser in each of us. So I will leave you with this. My love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. My love is like the melody that's sweetly played on tune. So fair art thou, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I. I will love thee still, my dear, till all these seas gang dry. Lads, lift your glasses and a toast to our lassies. Slàinte.
I wish to begin with thanking my wonderful husband. My name is Krista Wallace, and I fully acknowledge that I have co-opted my Scottishness through marriage. I wish to embellish upon my lad's topic of travel. Traveling with a lad can be a challenge. Modes of transportation are important to him: by train, plane, automobile, and never forget a motorcycle. A kilt and a motorcycle do not necessarily mix. I remember the Homer Highland games, but I digress. My lad's mantra for travel is, it's not a trip, it's an adventure. Learn to go with the flow, but I am a person of lists, plans, printed itineraries. My lad puts up with my innate craving for visits of battlefields, even on our honeymoon. My lad understands my need to go through every castle, cathedral, museum, and monument. A visit to Scotland is balanced between his love of Scotch distilleries and my love of history. I remember our first trip to Scotland. It began with a nightmare of no map and how lost can you simply get trying to park your car. But let's reminisce about the tourist adventure. Beginning with the Scotch whiskey experience in Edinburgh, this gin drinker was lulled by the heady smells and tastes of Scotch, then dragged the lad to Edinburgh Castle and doused him in his history and his clan tartan. Drive up the coast of St. Andrews and enjoy golf. Head north and indulge the Speyside Scotch tours and tastings, and then drag him to Culloden and Urquhart Castle. Ooh, let's go see the castle in all those movies like The Highlander, Eileen Donan Castle. Let's travel the roads better used by sheep from Ullapool to Tain. 000 numbered roads are one lane, shared both directions. There must be 100 sheep for every person north of Hadrian's Wall. More Scotch in Tain and Tumentool. Laugh our hearts out at Avamore's ski resort, so proud of their man-made snow. We ended our Scottish tour with a trip to Stirling and the Wallace Monument. The monument to Sir William Wallace, the Guardian of Scotland, Braveheart fame. But don't get this historian started on the historically inaccurate movies. My lad refuses to take me to historical movies anymore. I yell at the screen when they get it wrong. This trip began with my own grand adventure into the Scottish history and this Scottish club. My lad tolerates my addictions to tartan, Outlander, and my volunteering at the Highland Games. Did you know that I do really means we do? To quote Burns, I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands of life shall run. So please, raise a glass to all those lads who love us lassies and our wee fancies. Swan.
Hi, we're Alaska Celtic Pipes and Drums, and we would like to wish you a happy Robert Burns night, and we hope you enjoy some of our musical selections. Balmoral and Castle Dangerous. Band, to the right, quick, march. We're in the green, invincible. 10. Right? Quick. Mark.
All right, everybody enjoy that music? Say yes.
Yes. Great job.
You little
Anchorage,
dancing.
Alaska Celtic.
Okay, so what we're trying to do here is now play bingo. So hopefully you guys all got your bingos in. I've been sitting there going through. So some of you that had more than one, I got you. So what we're going to try to do is, if you see these prizes, when I draw your name, we'll call it out and go ahead and unmute yourself and maybe shout bingo or Robert Burns or something really cool, and tell us which one you want.
Let's tell them what it all is.
Sure. So we have a Clans water bottle. Some of you maybe have seen these from the games. I'm not a real good Vanna White, but you know.
You're a great Vanna White.
You're better than Vanna.
Better than Vanna.
Okay, so we have a silver Celtic charm, and I don't know if I'm even holding these up to the camera.
You're good.
Appropriately. So
nice necklace there.
We have wine charms from the Alaska Scottish Club. There's a set of 4 with thistles. We have this year's Alaska Scottish Club collector's coin, challenge coin. We have a Scotch whiskey flask.
No Scotch.
No Scotch.
Oh,
Unless you call me later. We have an extra large Scotland polo, a Alaskan Scottish Club ball cap, and a Scottish customs book by Sheila Livingstone. Okay, so who wants to draw a name? One of the clans people want to draw a name for me?
I'll draw a name for you.
Fine.
We got Dixine. So we need you to tell us what you want. Put it in chat.
And Dixine, it's Dixie number 1. So whoever one of you got it first.
I would like the flask.
You got it, Dixine.
Okay, we'll be in touch. Hey, you want to draw one?
Sure.
Laura B. Laura B.
And so again, this is Laura B, your first one.
That's Laura Bozeman. I'd like the necklace, please.
All right. You got it.
Somebody. Oh, I need to write. Yeah.
We have Messick.
Last name Messick.
Is somebody from the Messick family?
Yep, they're
You
on
say
the
yay,
water
water
bottle.
bottle.
All
Awesome.
right. We put that on the water bottle.
Anybody else want to draw?
I'll draw.
Okay.
Jessica Shepherd. Come on, Hal and Jessica, we know you're there. The book on Scottish customs.
Okay. Awesome. Anybody? Somebody?
Messick family.
Which number? Oh, so I think that's your second one.
Let me check. So we got an extra large shirt, wine charms,
She went to
challenge coin, and hat.
the keychain. We have a coin or wine charms, not a
Picking the wine
keychain.
charms.
The coin.
The coin. You got it. Okay, 2 more, 3 more. Oh, why did we choose 8 prizes, Amberly?
Oh, because Robert Burns had 8 children of Gene or more.
Oh, by his actual wife.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, okay. Tim Osborne. We have an extra large polo, a hat, and
Take a hat, please.
the hat. All right.
Unless Jenny's turned it over her end.
No, we got you, Tim.
All right.
So we got two more, so shake them up
Two
good.
more.
folks.
I hope we have an XL size person for the shirt. It's a nice shirt. You just have to be the right size. We got another message. That's what you get for having your whole family play.
Shay, want the shirt.
All right.
We need the sticker though.
And the wine charms go to whoever wins the last drawing. Final drawing. And of course, we'll have the raffle drawing after the Scott of the Year presentation.
Okay, this is the last drawing for the door prizes for bingo, so that pretend there's a drum roll.
Dixie number 2.
All right, guess you get the wine charms.
She's like jazz hands.
Yeah. Awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you guys for playing. You can answer that. So we'll move on to
I was torn between the charms and the flask.
well, now you got both.
charms. Or now you got both, right?
Yep.
So, I have a message that a couple people didn't get their raffle ticket numbers. I have your raffle ticket numbers recorded, so if you win, you still win, even if it's in your spam filter or something like that. So don't worry, you will still win, even if you didn't get my email telling the numbers. So we're ready for Scott of the Year.
Falsh, everyone. Welcome to the Alaskan Scottish Club Robert Burns Night. We are doing it virtual for the second year in a row. We're pretty excited about having it virtual again. I threw a party last year and it was way fun. And I'm having another party as we speak while you're watching this now. My job this evening is to announce our 2021 Scott of the Year. It's really a wonderful opportunity to celebrate an individual who has gone beyond the call of duty with all the programs of our Scottish Club. Now, this person has helped out for years with the games, and the games is our biggest program, and every volunteer with the games is so highly valued. We really appreciate it. But this person has gone beyond the call of duty with the other events, such as St. Andrew's Night, such as our Robert Burns Night, Kirking of the Tartan when we had that, and with our new event, the golf tournament. This person has not only volunteered to chair committees, to be a committee member, and to be a workhorse. This person has also drummed up her family to bring them into the picture to help out. And we really appreciate this. And it's not an easy job to be a Scot of the Year. You have to do a lot of volunteerism, come up with ideas, and just be a fabulous person, which most of our members are, which I'm glad to say. Anyway, it gives me great pleasure to announce the Scot of the Year for 2021, Krista Wallace. Thank you so much, Krista. You've been great.
Congrats, Krista! Woo!
There you go. It's Krista Wallace.
Now it's off.
Thank you. What a great pleasure. Great honor.
Krista's one of those people where if you ask her to do something, you never have to ask again because you just know it's done. You know that's true, Krista. Anyway, now we're going to have the raffle drawing. And Michael, I do have your numbers in here. I'm sorry if you didn't receive them. So we do have one of these cool, turny things. Our raffle is conducted under the auspices of the
145 to 149.
So I actually wrote the names on each ticket as well as sending you your numbers. And like I say, if somehow your numbers got stuck in your spam filter, we still know who bought the ticket. So we have 3 different prizes. We have the pet basket, we have the Burns basket, and we have the Scotch tasting basket, which is 2 tickets for the Scotch tasting at the games this year. You'll get to choose which session you want to go to, and it does come with 2 games tickets. So when I draw the first ticket, you get to choose which of those 3 things you want. You do not have to be present to win. So if the person who wins is not here, we have to wait and find out what they wanted. So the first ticket number is 1270. That belongs to Don Tracy. So if Don would like to let us know what he wants, that would be great. If not, the other 2 people will simply have to wait to find out what their choices are. So I'm spinning the tickets again, mixing them up. That's Jones. Yes. The second ticket, which will get second choice of the prizes, is 1232, and that belongs to Stephen Blades.
Our ticket numbers are really low.
Ours is 145.
Well, let's just see. Rod, if you get one of those. Okay, 3 of them dropped out of the bin. I'm putting them back into the bin so that everybody gets a chance. Last one. Us. I do not remember the first name. The ticket number is 1305. So we will be contacting these 3 people in order to find out which prize they each want and getting those out to you. Thank you so much. All of the money from the raffle tickets, or I should say most of the money, goes to paying the performers. The man in Scotland who did the tour for us, Alaska Celtic Pipe Band, and the Fire, all of whom you have seen contributed to this. So that's how we pay them. So that when you get the meals, you're just paying the cost of the meals, and the raffle pays for everything else. So thank you all for your donations. So
should old acquaintance be forgot? I never brought to mind. Should old acquaintance be forgot? An old lang syne, for old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness here for old lang syne. Oh, surely you'll buy your pint cup, and surely I'll buy mine, and we'll take a cup of kindness. friend. Oh, give a hand of thine, and we'll take a cup of kindness here for old lang syne, for old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne. We'll take a cup of kindness here for old lang syne.
Because on the board you sat next to her and
Sláinte.
Happy birthday, Robert Burns.
There you go.
Thank you, Dixine, for the happy birthday, Robert Burns. That's what it's all about. I hope you enjoyed our presentation this evening.
I will too.
Alaska Celtic Pipe Band has one more set that they're going to do as we proceed to end the evening. Thank you all for coming. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing all your faces, and here's hoping next year we get to do it live. But I'm so glad to see you now. Happy Burns Night.
It was
Robert
really-
Burns.
Happy Burns
Robert
Night. Happy Burns Night. Really good job, you guys. Really good.
Thank you, Dixine.
Went off well.
Now everybody. It's over.
Hi, this is Alaska Celtic.
Gotta be a little more
wishing
aggressive
you
with things.
a happy
That's my job.
Robert Burns Night, and we would like to play some more tunes for you. Hope you enjoy. Hi, it's the Dog Guy and Battle of the Song. Bang. To the right. Quick. March.
Alaskan